Okay, we should be live. Let's see.
We're live.
Yep, here we are.
Yay! Hello, world.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to our second VKH live stream. Thank you for everyone who showed up for the first one. I was kind of impressed people showed up because we put it up. We secretly announced it like 2 hours before, and then people showed up. So that was really cool. I am Jeff DeWitt. I am one of the owners of VKH Press. One of our co-owners, Winona, she was on our last live stream. She'll be with us at a few points throughout the stream. She's currently running track and competing because she's a badass like that. So you'll hear from her. But I have some very special guests with me. First of all, let me introduce Laura from JRock Vault.
Hi.
And her son, Bruce.
Hi.
Hi.
And then, of course, the notorious, the illustrious Rubab from Fake Star.
Hello, hello. Live from Los Angeles.
Live from Los Angeles.
Hi. Hi.
Hi, Bruce.
Hi.
No, you got him started, so
Oh, yeah.
good luck.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So we just came from Laura's live stream for her business, JRock Vault. So, Laura, would you like to tell us a little bit about what all that is? And
About the vault?
yeah, about the vault.
So I started a subscription service with my friend, and it's called JRock Vault, and we're shipping 6 boxes a year. We're open for pre-orders right now, and it's basically a subscription box where every time you get a box from us, you're getting introduced to a new artist or a band, and it comes with a t-shirt. We have American sizes, small through 3X, poster, all kinds of information about the artist, as well as a CD single. And we have 2 box sizes. We've got the large box, and we also offer a mini box too. But we're accepting pre-orders till March 2nd, and if you pre-order right now, you get a special t-shirt and founding vault member status, which means you get better access to bonus items and stuff like that.
Awesome. Sweet. And that's at jrockvault.com, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. And tell us about Fake Star and how cool it is.
We're so cool. No, so we're actually a Japanese company. We're based in Japan, and our head office runs projects like Visualog, which you might be familiar with. That's a popular media news website. And our head office also does like tours. We start off new bands. We have band support packages. So we work with everybody in Japan. And then our US office, which is me, we bring these artists to America, but it's also expanded to include fashion designers like maybe the Stars Shine Bright and Galaxy and Listen Flavor and stuff like that. And then we also do, we work with a lot of anime artists. Last year we brought Okko, who did a bunch of songs for anime. And we also work with Teddy Lloyd. We've been bringing him to a bunch of shows this year as well. And yeah, so we do all of that. We bring over talent from Japan to the US, and we have some exciting stuff we're working on this year. Yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Rubab has helped us out a lot at VKH Press. Really cool person. I met her in person first time at Acon,
yeah,
2017 last summer.
Yeah.
I got to hang out with her, and she was managing Pentagon Japan and Okto, right? At that point.
And Heavy Grinder. We had DJ Heavy Grinder come out.
Grinder.
Who else? Yeah, like I remember there being like 4 concerts. So yeah. Oh, and then Atelier Piero. We had the fashion show for them as well.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it was busy.
Yeah.
That was me on Red Bull the whole weekend.
Oh yeah, me too. I barely had time to sleep. So, but
you were there to attend and like write the live reports and do interviews and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I
on.
bet my schedule was worse.
Yeah, that's true. that's low key. I didn't actually start going to anime conventions like until I started covering like artists there. Like the first anime convention I ever went to was the one in DC with Rides in Rebellion. I'd never actually been to an anime convention. Yeah. Yeah, it's really recent. Yeah.
Wow. I think Laura and I have been going to cons for like ages.
Yeah.
At least 10 years or something like that.
Yeah, lots of shenanigans, many shenanigans.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like I'm into anime. It's just I never like maybe there's just not like there weren't any like cons that really caught my eye until I got like way into JRock and Visual K, and then it was like, oh, cons and a concert. That's worth my weekend. So
yeah, I know a lot of fans are like, why do you bring the bands to cons? And I'm like, look, America is really big. It's really hard for artists to tour here. They're always losing money when they tour here because, you know, how it takes 20 hours to drive to get to the next city. So cons are definitely the easiest place for us to be bringing artists because the cons, you know, they have the audience there. We never lose money. The artists never lose money when they go to cons because all the expenses are taken care of. And, you know, I think it's been the best place so far for us to launch artists in the US. Just touring is really, really rough on the pocketbook. You know?
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, does it make a difference where the con's located, like as like on the West Coast versus the East Coast, or is it like so far that at that point it's like not worth it, or at that point it's no difference?
It's very different because when we go to cons in, like I'll use Hawaii as an example. Every year we do a con called Kawaii Con in Hawaii, and we bring usually fashion guests. The market there is a lot like Japan. The fans will buy limited edition items. They're very interested in anime. They don't like Visual K in Hawaii. It's like not popular there. So the market influences a lot of who we bring out to the different locations. I've been to cons in the Midwest or like, you know, really rural America, and the fans don't know anything about Japanese culture. They don't have the kind of like, I want to say, taste that the fans in like the more major cities have. The people in major cities are definitely, they know what they're into. They know what kind of music they like. The people in rural America are just like, oh, it's Japanese, it's cool. It's very, very different.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, very true. I'm sure because I've lived in small towns. I live in a small town now. I was in a larger city for the last 5 years or like outside of it. So kind of take whatever you can get at that point, you know.
Yeah, we do have a lot of fans in when we go to cities like Atlanta or you know, wherever. Fans in the South especially will travel longer distances to see artists. People in at least the West Coast are like, ooh, it's 4 hours, I don't want to drive. So it's very different.
Yeah. So since like it's like all three of us on the first or on a stream together for the first time, like maybe we should just like go around and just so that for the benefit of the viewer, like kind of give everybody an idea of like what music we're into specifically, like JRock, like what your favorite bands are and stuff. I can start. Like for me, it would be like the Gazette and Miyavi were two of like my most like my initial ones that I was like really into. Now I'm into a bunch of like bands and stuff, just trying to keep up with the trends and things like that. So like Kiryu and Diora and Pentagon and Arlequin, you know, all the Goemon bands that you guys work with over there. Yeah. So yeah, what about you, Rubab?
What?
I said, what about you?
How about me?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, let's let Laura go before me.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I guess the first band that I got really, really into was I was into Duran Gray. I actually met Rubab at a Duran Gray concert.
Go back.
Way back.
Way back.
And then I also really like I like a lot of the Nagoya K bands. I love Deadman, and also really into Miyavi. Actually, my son is super into Miyavi. He like tries to air guitar to his DVDs and stuff like that. I would say that the bands that I like is probably a little bit dated at this point. So I don't know the newer bands quite as well, but I'm trying to like keep up with it a little bit better now.
It's hard because so many of them break up, and then you're like, when did that happen?
Oh, like Femme Fatale. I watched some Femme Fatale videos. I was like, this band is freaking awesome. And then I like Googled them and it's like they broke up 2 years ago. Oh.
Yeah, it was pretty shortly after we brought them to PMX for their US concert.
It's a tragedy.
I know, it's so tragic. I'm a huge fan of the bassist. Like, he's amazing. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's just like a constant struggle. I had two bands that like I thought they were going to be what Medjugorje ended up becoming, like this giant popular metal indie band. And so first
with all the hype.
Yeah, with all the hype and stuff. Just like they had the formula for it. And like the first one was Signal, and they started out like they were like really good right out the gate. And at the time, like Medjugorje was like gaining steam, and so I was like going back and forth between like those two and being like, man, I really hope Signal gets big because I'm not sure how I feel about Medjugorje. And then they disbanded. And then what was the name of the band? It was Killineth. It was from like a couple years ago. They were very Medjugorje inspired, but like more gothic. And they like their second single is like freaking awesome, and I was like convinced they were going to be the next Medjugorje, and then they disbanded, and then Medjugorje went on hiatus. So it was like I couldn't win. You know?
Yeah, it's so fast. It's like
they should do like fantasy football team type betting for like which bands are gonna stay together the longest.
Oh my God.
I'm not even gonna comment on that because I have my own prediction.
Oh God, I forgot. Yeah, Rubab's
man,
part of betting pool lately.
Oh yeah.
There's what betting pool? There's no betting pool. For my favorite band, like Laura said, we met at a Deer and Grey concert. They were one of the first Japanese bands I got really into when I was small. I got really, really into it, and it just spiraled out from there. I'm super into Kiyoharu and all of his stuff. Kuroyume, Sads, I'm totally into. I always go see Kiyoharu every time I go back to Japan. It's like a drug. I'm really, really into. I was really into Dive. They were one of my favorite bands, and
yes,
then they broke my heart. But I'm really excited about the drummer Satoshi's new band, Laplace, and I really like Acme, Chisa and Shogo's new band, Acme. I'm interested to see where those guys go, so I've been listening to them a lot. And I'm really into Sim lately. Love Sim.
Yay! Yeah, I've been following them for a few years now.
I just got into them, and I'm like, oh, where have they been all my life?
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah, it's kind of biased. There's a lot of new bands. I like Zombie's a good one I'm really into. And I personally get really invested in following those bands, but I try to be very like unbiased when it comes to bringing out artists to the US. But sometimes my musical influences do affect that. But yeah, I'm into all that stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks. Yeah, the bias, like being like having your own personal favorites and then like trying to do your job, like can be tricky, but like sometimes not tricky. But like it just kind of hurts you internally sometimes. Like I was really into Crossfaith, and I still am.
Yes.
Like, I'm a big Crossfaith fan, and you know about this. But like Laura, I wrote like my first review for Crossfaith just because we just never gotten around to the JRock and J-metal bands until fairly recently, and I've been following them forever. And so, but their latest single that they put out, it like had to be the one that was like I had to give like a mediocre, slightly negative review.
Awkward.
Yeah, like they did the thing where it's like like it was all produced in the West, so that kind of tells you where that went, you know. So they started sounding like a lot of other Western bands and stuff like that. But I was like, oh my god, like I was kicking myself for not reviewing the last single because it was great, and then this one, so I just totally missed out.
I don't know. I really like it. I listen to that track a lot. The one you don't like, but that's
the third one.
Taste. The what's it called? Wipeout? No, the one you put it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the title track. No, I'm fine with the title track. Like I think it's good.
Oh okay. So the rest of the tracks.
Yeah, it was the other tracks that on it that I was more meh on. I'm just with Wipeout. I'm familiar with the kind of fan base that follows Crossfaith, which is like fairly international.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like a lot of people in the UK scene and stuff. And it's the kind of song that they would like give someone a lot of crap for, which is like unfortunate. I like it, but I'm fine with it. But it was the B-sides. So that were a little. If the lead track had been like that, I would have been like worried. But you know, so.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
Yeah.
But like what's comforting is like they go in waves with that. They'll like just kind of try a bunch of different stuff, and it'll kind of sound, you know, not quite as like epic as some of their other stuff, or it'll sound like other bands, and then like the next release they'll come right back and just like have like evolved to the next level.
Yeah. At least they're trying new things. That's one of my peeves, is when the bands are just doing the same thing over and over again, and you're just kind of like, come on guys. It does get boring going to so many shows and seeing the same bands do like the same thing over and over again. I get really tired of it. So I do admire them for trying out new stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
The bands can't win either way though, because either they get in trouble for changing or not changing. Like either way, someone's gonna be upset.
It's true. Yeah. Remember when all of that, like, people used to be so mad that Deer Grey was changing their style into...
Oh, like, yeah, I remember, because Marrow of the Bone came out, and it was like...
And I was like, what are you doing?
People were fighting, like, wars are being waged.
But then, you know, other people were arguing that they've been going in that direction. Like, have you not heard the first few single releases? Like, it was bound to happen. They were already in that, you know, area. So, but look where they ended up. Like, I love their current sound. I think everything's great.
Yeah, Denver is a weird one because, like, I guarantee you there's, like, people that think, like, each and every one of their albums, for every one of their albums, there's people that, like, are like, that album was not Duran Grey. This is Duran Grey. Or, like, that was bad. Or, like, you know. Especially, like Dumb Sparrow for Western fans. Like, I've seen people that are like, everything before this or everything before Ouroboros was like garbage, but this is metal and I like metal, so it's good, you know, like.
Yeah, I have seen a lot of influx of like Americans who don't know anything about Japanese music turning up to Deer Grey shows.
Yeah. Oh, Asuka in the chat. Hi, Asuka. They were on last time. Asuka says, remember Garughamesh's change?
I just remember their meme.
Sorry, yeah, that was me like Garughamesh.
No, I used to really like them. They had really good music, but
yeah, Winona and I were super into Garughamesh. Yeah, we were really salty when they did that one album, Go, where they just kind of like turned into like a pop rock band, you know. Like all their songs turned into lunacy knockoffs, and you know, like they sounded like they were going for the Annie song like scene because they were that big enough at that point, you know.
Right. It's a lot. Sometimes it's also the label influencing that. You know, I know a lot of the internal drama that goes on with the labels and everything, and it, you know, sometimes it's not always the artist's decision. Sometimes it's the producer. Yeah, it's just funny to see where it ends up.
Yeah, and then it was wild because then they came back and then they like came back to their style and then they like transformed it into that like EDM gent inspired music for like their last full album.
Because that was when EDM started getting really popular, and then everyone was like, "Oh, we want to do EDM too." It wasn't just Gilgamesh.
Yeah, for sure. I'm glad they carved out their own little like thing with like the gent sound though. Like that was, I like that album. I reviewed that album. I was pretty happy with it. I still listen to that sometimes.
It's good. They're one of the few who pulled it off really well.
Yeah. Oh man, speaking of labels, like, you know, after like I want to say like, what was it, 2017, 2016? I can't think of any other time I've seen a label just take so many hits as when Danger Crew like lost all their bands like in the course of 16 months. Like starting with Garugamesh, they lost Garugamesh, they lost Dive, they lost Camillio.
So sad.
They lost everybody. They just like they like Cloud had just signed to them, and they're now like their number 2 band. They're basically the replacement for Garugamesh, which is like
Cloud is doing amazing.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for them, and I was following them since before they got signed. So like I'm happy to see it, but it's like, man, that must be really frustrating.
Yeah, because they also did. This was like before. No, this was after they were doing that, like, we're recruiting a new Kansai band. Like, they had this contest a while back. I think that was before all these other bands broke up. But the band that ended up winning that contest was Umbrella, who's a band that's been around for, like, 10 years. They're, like, a really solid band. They're amazing live. I've seen them once before. And they're, like, on the baby end of Danger Crew. And, I want them to do a lot more, like, sell a lot more and get a lot more popularity because they're such a solid band and they have so much potential, but they've been around for so long. So it's like, where's that balance of the newbie, you know, this newbie star band and then this, like, long-time runner that's trying to climb up the ranks, but also really solid. So,
yeah.
Danger Crew's, like, an interesting position right now.
Yeah, for sure. They just signed Devolup to like their sub label, right? I think I saw that.
Umbrella?
No, Danger Crew. They just signed like Devolup to their sub label, right?
Oh, that's right. They did.
Yeah.
That's
a good move. That's a really good move.
Very good move.
Yeah.
Very good.
Devolup finisher. Laura, have you heard Devolup at all?
I think Rubab linked them to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
you gotta
every
like brace yourself, like when you go to play the music. It's
very,
like,
very heavy.
It's straight up deathcore, like with a little bit of Visual K song structure in there. But
V-Star coming in clutch. Yes, they did. They did sign to Danger Crew.
Hey, what up?
What up?
V-Star in the chat. How's it going?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aska saying Gilgamesh was my fave, and then after their mid-downfall, I got super into Gazette, and they've been my fave ever since. Competing.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's my fave too, right now currently. But yeah, Winona was pretty frustrated about. She's having trouble finding. And I agree with her. She's having trouble finding like a band to replace that Garugamesh shaped hole in her heart. You know. It's like a certain kind of sound. Like it's like new metal, but not new metal. And there's like before all their like changes and stuff. You know.
Yeah.
They had a really talented vocalist too, which is actually I feel is kind of rare. There's a lot of really, really terrible vocalists out there. They had a great one.
Yeah, well, it really stood out from all the vibrato that was in the scene at the time. I think it still is, you know. But not that there's anything wrong with vibrato, but like it was just like it really made him stick out. So like in a good way though. So okay, so there were a couple of topics I wanted to talk about. Just 'cause I put them in the title just in case like people could or couldn't make stuff. So I gotta at least cover them, and then we can go into like all kinds of.
It's in the title. Now you're committed.
Yeah, now I'm committed. Got to give the people what I told them I'd give them, right? So.
Here. Sorry.
No, you're good. I wanted to talk about Visual K bandmen like becoming solo artists, which is becoming I don't want to say it's a trend or that it's becoming frequent, because it's not super frequent, but I'm seeing more and more success stories than I'm used to seeing, which is, I'm used to seeing zero. So, you know, or like maybe one, right? But yeah, so I just think it's interesting that like a lot of bandmen that or a lot of visual kei artists that are becoming solo artists, they seem to be using it as a platform to like branch out maybe a little bit beyond your traditional rock music tropes. I think a good example of that would be Asagi. Well, actually, it would be Kamijo. Like Kamijo's gotten more and more symphonic with every release he's put out. Like he put out that Nosferatu single last month, and the orchestra was so like thoroughly integrated that it was like kind of hard to tell that you were listening to like a rock song. It felt like a symphonic song that also had rock in it and stuff.
Right.
It's kind of getting more towards that point. And I also think Asagi does it to a certain extent as well. He just had his first album that came out.
With all those power players.
Yeah, with
I think
all
this
the power players. Like, oh my God.
He's put out singles before, but the first single that he put out, and I would almost even say like the last one too, it always sounds like D, but slightly different. But the new album, I think, is really unique. It's just like full on one style, and it doesn't. I don't think it sounds like a D record.
No, not at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it goes to show you, like, if the solo artist does go solo and it sounds completely different, maybe it shows that they had how much of an influence they had on the music to begin with, or like who was actually in charge of the songwriting.
Right. Yeah. You really see that with Kamijo, and then like the contrast with like the other members that are in of Versailles that are now in Jupiter. Like, it's like when they first started, it was like you could exactly see like the two parts of Versailles. Like they took them apart and just made them their own like two projects. Like it was very striking, you know.
That's true.
But I'm also noticing that they're becoming, in addition to like, you know, the music quality being more unique and actually, you know, being decent, they're starting to become more and more successful. Like not quite as successful. Like I'm talking about in terms of, I'm using the Oricon charts like as a, I don't know if that's a great measurement for success, but it seems like a good idea to me. Not super close to how successful like some of their old bands or some of like their main bands are, but like pretty good for branching off and like new independent project, and here's my first album, or here's my first few years of releases. Like D's used to charting pretty high. Like they, you know, anywhere between, I guess, like the 30s to the teens.
They used to chart higher, but I think now they can still make up onto the chart, but usually not for very long. It's just the first initial, and then they drop off pretty quick.
Like back when they were on Avex, they were charting pretty well, obviously, because better promotion.
Top page.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, but even still, yeah, I did notice that with like their newer albums, which is a little unfortunate, but you know, they're still doing pretty well. But Asagi's album, like, looks like it hit number 40 on the charts.
Not bad.
Which is pretty good, you know. But in terms of the quality of that album, like, it really speaks a lot, in my opinion. Have you guys listened to the album, by the way? No?
I haven't had a chance. Did you listen to it, Laura?
I actually listened to it because he's doing all the crazy promotion where he's posting the picture of the moon every day until the day of the full moon, which is the day the album released, which was the night we actually got in the car and drove down to LA for the Kaya's event weekend shenanigans. So we listened to it while we were driving under the full moon. which is
Oh,
kind of
nice.
funny.
That's
But
very
yeah,
fitting.
I have listened to it, and I need to listen to it some more. But I really, really like it.
Yeah,
It's
I keep
yeah.
telling myself that I need to just keep listening to it more and more because
Just let it fully sink in.
I'm supposed to be reviewing this album, but there's so many layers that it's like, you know,
Yeah.
and it's not like it's not, and there's so many like, you know, high profile artists that it's like you can't ignore that, you know, when you're talking about the songs they're in. So it's become like this whole thing, but it's like it really does speak, I think, to his vision, like his shockingly broad, huge vision for a you know, brand new. I mean, not brand new, but like for his first, you know, albums, first release as a solo project in a really long time, that like he was able to get all of these artists in and it not sound like they were just like, you know, obligatory features or anything like that. He really stitched it all together like into a really organic package. I really like the track with Sugisa.
Oh, Sugizo. Yes.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
Yeah, that's a good example of like a track that feels nothing like a rock song. Like there's like a whole section where it's just like bass guitar backing up Sugizo on violin, electric violin, and like some mild EDM playing in the background, and it's like the most chill thing ever. Yeah.
Have you listened to his old project, Kocho?
No, I haven't.
I think you have to give it a listen. It's I think he was still in Syndrome when he put that out. It was him and another guy who I don't remember who that is. But and they might have only released a couple of things, but there's about 5 or 6 tracks. And it's really, really young Asagi, so he sounds really raw, almost a little bit terrible. But so it's kind of nice that like you can hear him like before he started taking vocal training. But it's kind of the style of this album. But this album like takes that to like a whole new professional, like mature level. Look,
Mature.
you have to go back and listen to that.
That was the word I was looking for. It was mature. Like I don't know why I was thinking of that. I guess it's because I already consider Asagi to be a mature artist, but like, you know.
Yeah.
Mature as in age?
No, just mature as in like, I don't know. When you hear him sing in D, and I'm assuming he takes a pretty big role in writing their music. Very well developed. It's a whole production. You know, their lives and their
like a play.
Yeah, he wrote a fantasy book. I think that was like that one of his albums was based off of. Yeah. Yeah.
There's like multiple albums and singles, and I think someone made like a flow chart with like all the different characters. Like this is going on for years.
Yeah.
Just stringing a whole story together.
Yeah,
if you want the next update, you gotta buy the new single.
That's a marketing plan.
Yeah.
Dude, VK bands are masters at marketing. Like, I think people should study them. They do not care. Like, they will sell you anything.
Oh, they will sell you the shirt off of your back.
You know what I think that is? I think that's the and this is why I really like Visual K, actually, is because we don't have this in the States anymore. Is that Visual K artists, they dress, but more importantly, they act like rock stars. Like they act like they deserve to be on that stage, and that you deserve to have paid $50 to go watch them perform, and $100 for VIP pass and stuff like that. And it's
I definitely see that difference.
Yeah, and that's something that like was what made like rock music like great back in the day, was when like Western bands like took the live performance seriously. They took the whole attitude, the rock and roll attitude seriously. It was a very glamorous lifestyle. There's a reason that like rappers still rap about partying like a rock star, being like a rock star, even though nobody listens to rock music. At least not where I'm at, you know, like but like nowadays it's like, you know, bunch of dudes in jorts like on stage and stuff like that over here in the States. So, you know, it's like very underwhelming. So then like when you like go snooping around online and you're presented with like this fantasy band of like, you know, highly stylized like, you know, people, and they're flourishing and they're
Yeah. I definitely see that difference when, you know, I bring over artists to the US with the anime related artists and the, you know, regular rock artists. The fans have a different vibe completely. The staff that we work with treats them differently. But then when it's a VK band, like everyone has like sparkle eyes and they're just like, whoa. And, you know, there's a little bit of magic about them, which is really interesting to see, you know, the reactions of the fans and everything.
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Another solo artist I wanted to see if you guys had heard of by chance is David. Have you guys listened to him?
I've heard the name.
Okay, so it's Sui from Mega Romania, if that rings more bells.
Oh, yeah. That's like old school undercode band, right?
Yeah. But he is now a solo project, and he goes by David, and he's signed to Chateau Records, which is Kamijo's label, and he is actually fantastic. And like I completely didn't see it. He's like a darker version of Kamijo. Like it's like if Versailles was like more ominous sounding and, you know, stuff like that. But he's only put out like one single, I think, and like one hidden track initially that had some weird convoluted process to get. But
is he on YouTube?
It's hard to find him on Google because he has such a common name.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Whoops.
Like at peeve.
Yeah.
I'm all like trying to like stealthily like, but it's not working.
Yeah, I think.
Oh my god, he looks like Kamijo.
Yeah. He also has an amazing photo where he's doing like this crazy down low crab walk stance.
Yes, I see that.
Let me try and find a link for the chat.
Yeah.
It's even hidden on Chateau Agency's site. I don't understand why. Like, I can't even find it like on their OHP. I have to Google.
I feel like you can make so many memes out of this picture.
Yeah, I want to see this picture.
Yeah.
I got a link. Let me send it to you in private chat.
Sure.
There we go.
Oh, you know what? We wrote an article about him.
Well, I couldn't find it.
I knew that. I was like, what am I doing? Like, we talked about it on the podcast, which means we definitely covered it.
So maybe go to vkhpress.com and search David.
Yeah, I just put the link in the chat. So you click on
Just
that.
like that's the real link.
That's the real link. Yeah.
I'm gonna click this.
Now I'm on his Instagram.
So if you go to that, sorry, I didn't mean to send the link back to you guys. I was trying to put it in my browser. So if you go to that, you will see the fantastic crab walking stance.
No, I just sorry. The page you're looking for doesn't exist.
It does?
It says it does.
What, the page?
Or the link. I clicked the link.
Oh. Mm.
Yeah, see?
Oh. Weird.
Another link, maybe. Maybe it put it in wrong.
Maybe. You know what? I should take advantage of the technology in front of me and just show you guys.
Okay. On the screen share?
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Bear with me. I'm still learning how to do this. Okay. Can you see that?
I'm gonna
Wait. Go back.
This guy.
Wait, how do I get Jeff's picture back up here? Yeah, what is this Brazilian visual?
Oh, don't worry about that. We're gonna report that. There's a
Let's
scene,
spy on Jeff.
there's a scene in Visual K that's inspired by there's a scene in Brazil that's inspired by Visual K, and they're making a documentary about it. So,
Nice.
cool little fun fact, but yeah. So have fun with that. See, this is the URL I posted. Oh wait, you can't see it. It's sharing. So, but
We can see it. We can see all your tabs too.
you can see my tabs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
There's nothing bad on there.
Yeah.
It's not found in JRock Vault.
That's a good website. I like that site. It's one of my
Yeah,
favorites.
Yeah, JRock Vault's pretty great. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to me for now. I will try and link it in the comments after the live stream, so you guys have it. The music is really hard to get a hold of. They don't have anything official up, but I think it's available. I want to say on CD Japan. But definitely do what you can. I'll put a link to it, at the end of the live stream. It's definitely worth checking out.
Yeah.
Christian says, "What are your thoughts on Yohio?" You guys want to go first? I've been talking.
I don't have any thoughts. I'm sorry. I don't really follow him. I've met him once at a party, but don't really have any thoughts like musically on him. Just yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. Laura, you?
I actually don't know who he is.
Okay, so he is do you remember that Swedish Visual K band, Serenity? That was kind of a big deal a few years back.
No.
Okay, so basically there's this, like, one of the first, like, really successful Western Visual K bands. I think it might still be the most successful Western Visual K band, was Serenity, and they picked up a lot of fans, but they disbanded pretty quickly after their first album. And their guitarist, Yohio, is a fairly accomplished guitar. Well, he's a very accomplished guitarist. I can't play what he can play at all.
Yeah, he's like 16 and like signed to labels or something.
Yeah, that's like when he started, and he looks like
oh my gosh, he looks like an anime character.
Yeah,
his hair is amazing.
Yeah, he's very popular.
Yeah. So what makeup artists have told me is that when they try to do Visual K makeup on Japanese artists, they try to get them to look like European style. So like Yohio is essentially the visual epitome of what VK makeup is trying to look like.
just his natural face.
That's crazy.
It's really interesting.
He's really one of those guys that is like, you just look at, like, I don't know, like the bone structure of his face and everything. It's like he was born to dress like the way that he dresses, like as that very glamorous style of Visual K. I also think of like Yasu, like Acid Black Cherry and stuff like that. It's just like certain guys just are like, looks really well on them. But anyway, my personal thoughts on Yohio are, I like a lot of his stuff, actually. I actually liked his work in, he has his own record label now, and he started a band on the side called Disrain, which was like a heavy metal band, which was very different from what I'm used to hearing Yohio make, which is like very upbeat, kind of anime kind of music and stuff, he developed a screaming voice in that. Like, I was very like surprised. So I've reviewed one of Disrain's singles, and I reviewed Yohio's last single, and I think Yohio's like come a really long way throughout like starting his own record label and like signing other bands and stuff like that. And he was working. They were their record label's called Chaos Entertainment, and they were working with Kerbera at one point, which is Seike's new band, and Seike was the vocalist of Serenity. So it's like they all know each other and stuff. They're not anymore, but you know, they pick up like other Western inspired visual kei bands and stuff like that. And they just opened their first Japanese branch, and or their first Japanese version of the record.
Really cool.
And so they have a Japanese indie band signed to them. So they're officially the foot is in the door there. So I think through like all of that, like he's really like matured in terms of like his production skills, and then he's like kept up like his singing and everything like that. So he sounds like really symphonic and elegant on like this most recent single he put out. And I was like pretty into it. So I know people are like split, like really, really polarized. Like I know a lot of people are really polarized about Yohio, but I think if you look, you know, towards like his newer stuff, which is what's really relevant at this point, anyway, pretty solid. So
Christian saying Serenity sucked and Yohio is solo and still putting up decent songs.
Serenity kind of had like that. It wasn't really like a visual kei. It didn't sound like a visual kei song. I know visual kei doesn't have to have a song structure, but it sounded more like emo music, you know, in a lot of ways. So I think that turned a lot of people off.
I think a lot of newer VK bands sound a lot like emo music from like 2010-ish.
Oh, you think so? Like, I'm trying to think of who.
It's just like, I think like a lot of bands, the vocalists sing at a higher register now, I think. Like, whereas before they'd be like singing lower. I think it's just the singing style is kind of changing over time, so it's starting to sound more like the music that was popular here 5 to 10 years ago.
It's full circle.
Yeah.
I know James, one of our reviewers, was saying a lot of people in Japan kind of view it how some people view emo music here in the States. Have you guys been to Japan at all? Like, gotten to see? I mean, Laura, I know, or Rubab, I know you have. Do you guys know if that's the case at all?
Wanna make it? Bigger.
Wait, sorry, can you? I couldn't hear the question.
Oh, okay. What I'd heard from like one of our other reviewers was that like a lot of people in Japan look at visual kei music sort of the same way that like Westerners look at emo music. Is that fairly accurate? Or?
I don't know. That's a toughie. I feel like there's always that ideal of like, we want to sound like an American band that Japan tends to have. But one of the issues in doing that is a lot of the producers and engineers that these bands work with don't understand how to create that sound. So it might also be, you know, because these producers are finally catching on to that 2010s emo band sound like now, and that's why we're seeing it come up a lot in the music. I don't get to meet a lot of producers, but some of the producers I do know are just like super into overseas music and want to make it on trend with what our music scene is right now here in America, versus the other labels who are hiring these producers who only know how to make sounds from 10 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's better insight than I could provide.
I talk to a lot of different people, and it creates some internal drama, especially with like when a producer wants to make something really modern sounding, but the label's like, no, that sounds too gaijin, like you can't make it sound like foreigner music. There's a lot of that.
Wanna make me a sweater?
Right. Yeah.
No.
Shiro, hey Shiro. Shiro, one of our news all stars, is she's asking, what about the band Relight? I don't think I've ever heard Relight, Shiro.
Yeah, I've never heard of them either.
Yeah, I'll make a note of it to like check out though.
Yeah.
I wish they would stop with the cross-dressing shit. Lynch looks like Visual K without looking like girls. Dude, they're never going to stop cross-dressing. Okay.
Hey, there's a market for everything, right?
Yeah, and some people, like I said, some people are born for that shit, you know? Like you can tell, like that it's like there's just certain, when you find like your fashion that works for you, you may not expect it to be like what it is, but you'll notice it, like if it's your personality, if it's your, you know, your actual body and everything like that. So
I would argue also Lynch isn't trying to be Visual K. They don't really come out and say we're Visual K. It just happens to be that that's where they started out, and that's where they tend to get put in with news and everything like that. But Lynch isn't actively promoting themselves as a Visual K band, so that's probably why they're so different from other bands right now. I freaking love Lynch though; they're amazing.
yeah,
but I really like their look too. Their aesthetic is like awesome.
Yeah. So they don't. Do you think they still consider themselves Nagoya K? Because that's kind of always in that gray area of like, is that just eyeliner?
I would say yes.
Yeah.
Well, they're still based in Nagoya, so I would argue yes, they would still, you know, market themselves as a Nagoya band because they are one. But I haven't really, like, the industry around me doesn't really put the label of Visual K on them as they do with other bands.
Right. Yeah. They kind of let the metal music kind of speak for itself a lot, especially lately.
Love it. I'm gonna go see their big show at Makuhari next month. Super excited.
Oh really?
Oh yes. So excited.
Oh man, I'm still sad that Death Gaze disbanded. That was my other favorite Nagoya K. Or maybe, well, they went on hiatus, I think. I take that back, but they're all in different bands now. I don't know if they're coming back.
Sad.
It's very sad.
That's a bad sign.
Yeah, I mean, you know, stranger things have happened, I think.
Well, like the visual thing, like what I don't understand is why is Ninfa from Pentagon now with a boy look? I'm just like, what happened? He was definitely one of those, like, we're pigeonholing him as a girl, and then now he's like a boy.
Yeah, that was a drastic shift. Like that was interesting though.
Yeah, I mean, he looks cute. He looks great, but I'm just like, wait, what happened to the pigtails? I love the pigtails.
Yeah.
So cute.
Yeah, I don't know how you describe that fashion that they're going with for that new look. It's like, it's some sort of like, it reminds me of Western fashion, but not Western fashion. And they're using all these like different colors, and the hair is shorter, but like, you know, it still feels Visual K, but it doesn't feel Visual K. But you know, like it's really throwing me off. But like I like it at the same time. So
I think it's because they kind of have a little bit of an idol vibe to them. It's not like an outspoken thing, but you can kind of tell. That's why their music style is so varied. And that's why they have like the very, very strong visuals, the very interesting, you know, stuff they do, the shenanigans they put on Twitter and everything. They're very much like an idol type band with their personalities. So that probably has a lot to do with it, but it makes them more interesting to watch them and see what they're doing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I also remember watching them live. Each of the individual band members like had like a very different personality like when they're performing live, so that kind of ties it more into like, you know, the idol thing. So
yeah, definitely. Each one's very strong.
Yeah, we kind of got off topic there, but like I'm just kind of, it's a live stream, we're just kind of chilling, doing whatever. V-Star promotion is saying, I'm a bit slow, but on the topic of Visual K being considered, the same way that emo music is in the West, I think some band members also look at it the same way. One bandman I knew once said his fans are the outcasts in Japanese society, and his goal is to give them something through his music. I guess that's one way in which the comparison is true. Yeah, I guess that's kind of more of what I was going for, is the outcast stigma kind of gets put on them, you know?
Yeah, like girls over 30 in Japan don't really say they're into visual kei. Or I guess it might even be lower, like age 25 or something, like after college age, I guess. It's just like nobody really talks about that they're a visual kei fan because of the stigma.
Right, yeah.
So.
Sure.
It's just funny.
Yeah, it is. It's just like a constant. I don't know. So do girls like outgrow visual kei then, like completely, or do they just not?
Yes and no. Like, I mean, that is one of the issues with Japan's, like, you going into their whole like social issues and all that. The birth rates declining. There's not enough young fans to sustain the market, as there's not enough kids in Japan that are buying music anymore because there's no kids to begin with. So that's an issue. That's a whole other thing. But people get busy with their lives. They get busy with, jobs, getting married, having kids, all of that. So that definitely has an impact on the turnout and stuff for shows. This was something I talked about.
Oh, look who it is.
Hi.
Hey.
Hello. I'm sorry if it's loud. I'm about to walk out of here in a second. I'm going to mute my mic.
No worries. I'm just going to continue talking.
Yeah, okay. Go for it.
Okay.
Go
ahead. One of the conversations I had with Kara, that's the senpai band of Gazette on PS Company, I talked with their management about, like, how is Kara doing in Japan, because they play mostly really smaller live houses, but then when they have a big event, it'll be a huge live house. And asked, like, why is that? And they said, well, we've been around for 15 years. Our fans have grown with the band. So the fans are now, when they started getting into the band at 18, they're in their 30s. So, they don't have the time to go to all of the tours. They don't have the time to do all of that. So when the fans are, older, they do set aside days like, okay, I'm going to go to the anniversary live. Okay, I'm going to go to the birthday live. Those are the days that they'll set aside to see their favorite band. And that's all they can really afford time-wise. So that does influence a lot with the older bands.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So you'll see a lot of older fans turn up for those big shows, but they won't necessarily come on tour and follow the band around on tour and all of that because they just don't have the time for it.
Right, because they all have different schedules, right? Like the case of Lark and Seattle, all the members have their own solo projects. And they don't have definitely the time to come out on world tours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So.
Sorry, I'm just finding out we might have another guest joining us.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Did they just find out about me?
Yeah, no, we got one more person. But Winona, we were right in the middle of talking about everything, but we were talking about solo artists and visual kei and things like that before we went off on a fun tangent. I introduced the chat and Laura and Rubab to David's crab walking. Mm-hmm. So we're all on the same page now, just so you know.
So V-Star's following up the saying, even if with the younger indie bands, they're often older fans, but they are sometimes looked down upon from other fans at concerts. Definitely. Definitely the case. The younger fans, they'll be the ones up in the front, up at the, the barricade and bossing people around and everything. Yeah, there's a lot of age stigma. It's sad to see.
Yes.
I have to contest for that, as like, when I came in at like 14, I know like in the industry there's going to be age stigma clearly, but then there's also like age stigma in the fans, especially. Like even when I came in at like 14, but even when I was with VKH, like fans looked at me in a certain way. I don't know how to explain it, but like once I turned 18 and then I told people who I was, like then there was like a certain amount of respect that's like you have to go over a certain hump in order to get to where you want to be. in the industry especially, but like with fans, like you gotta, it's like you have to stick it out for a while before they respect you. I feel like maybe that's just me.
Yeah. Definitely don't see that much in the West. Like a lot of people in the West don't. I don't know. I've never encountered anybody judging fans for being old or young or anything in the Western scene.
Yes. I think we have Lori on. Lori, can you hear me?
Hey, Lori.
Yes, I think you've got me.
Hello.
Hello.
Everybody, this is Lori from V-Star Promotion.
Hello, everybody. Sorry, my
I have background noise. Let me turn off my mic.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Thanks. Sorry, go ahead, Lori.
Hi, everybody. I don't know if my voice is that good at the moment. I'm just getting over a cold, so please bear with me.
Sound great.
Yeah, you sound fine. Lori, do you want to talk? Do you want to explain to people who V-Star Promotion is and what they what kind of artists you guys work with?
Basically, V-Star Promotion is just a small company. We're still pretty new to the game, but myself and a few of the other staff members, we're all based in Osaka, Japan. We've got a staff member in America, and we mainly work with younger bands and upcoming bands that we think have potential to grow into something fantastic, and just kind of like give them a push into the international market. So the most noteworthy names that people might recognize us from would be Rise in Rebellion, Devil, and recently Viva Rush, and of course Morgan.
Yay! Yeah, I love all of the bands you pick. I don't know how you did that, but
Jeff said you have a magical power.
Yeah, you know how to pick them.
All these great bands to you.
The answer is swag.
Yeah,
swag, immense amounts of swag.
Yeah, honestly, a lot of it's just luck. Deviloof, I've known one of the members for years. Rise in Rebellion found me, and yeah, just luck.
So regarding Deviloof, were the members' previous bands they weren't Visual K bands, were they? Were they part of the deathcore scene over there?
When I first met Keisuke, he was in a band called Kuroi something. It was a really weird name and a really weird band. That was deathcore through and through.
Yeah, sounds like deathcore.
3 of the members were in a band called Almost Die, and that was as far from Visual K as you could get. And just suddenly they became Visual K and became Deviloof. Yeah, that's my cat. He's decided to join in too.
Yes. He has an opinion. He has a very strong opinion on these things.
He loves Deviloof. There was one point where Keisuke wanted to make a cat band shirt.
That would have sold so well.
Yes.
Yeah, he wanted his cat to model it, and I was like, not gonna happen, bro.
Not gonna happen. I would have bought that.
Yeah.
See, 2 industry people would buy it immediately. There you go.
Cats
are life, honestly. Cats are great.
Cats and VK have a very special relationship.
Have you guys seen that Desert PV? Speaking of cats and Visual K?
My favorite. Please link it. It is my favorite desert song. I got to.
Is it because of the song or is it because of the cats?
Well, okay, it's both. Because I saw their show in October. I wanted to check out their live performance, and they played the cat song, and I was like, oh my god.
You guys, Rubab keeps sharing the song with me because she forgets that she shared it with me before. She shared this song with me like 3 times now.
She's like, Laura, look at these cats.
So cute. So I asked, was it hard to record this video? And the answer was yes, because cats are terrible actors.
Bro, I know, I don't know if anyone knows the movie Keanu, but that was the movie for Michael Keaton and Jordan Peele, and that's about a cat, right? Like a kitten. So they had to get an actor, which was a dog in a motion capture suit, to act out as Keanu. Mostly because Michael is allergic to cats, but also because cats can't act.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So the PV is called Hentai, and it's a really really good
Oh
song.
yeah, that PV. Oh my
Amazing.
god.
Everything. This TV has everything right. The name, the cat,
The blonde hair,
image, the
the
song.
blonde hair like this, with the basis. I just love his hair.
Oh yeah.
Bro, I remember talking to Jeff about that cat. I was like, the central theme here is the cat. It's everywhere.
Yeah, just random passing shots of the cat, like
On
like
the drums,
on the
just walking through the PV. Just
The cat is like the love interest.
that's what the whole thing is.
The epic, intense
It's
story
like-
of the PV is the cat wandering
Yeah.
around
Like-
the PV set.
Isn't that
So
all
many of
visual
these
kei?
videos will have like
Sorry.
so many of these videos will have like a random like foreign girl, but this video has the cat.
A cat, yeah. It's a very relatable love interest, I think.
Sorry, dog people.
And we would still just watch it for the cat.
Yeah. Oh man, it's great.
Everyone should
Are we
watch
off
it if you
topic
haven't seen
again?
Wait, there. I mean, we
What
can
was the
stay-
topic? Solo artists?
We can
Something
stay
about
as
solo
far off
artists?
topic as possible as we want. You know. It's,
I'm usually the one that drags us off topic, so this is new to me.
yeah, we were talking about solo artists. I think I've like said enough. I've kind of got my point across.
I think I know I have a thing to say. If anyone heard One OK Rock's new single, I feel like where's the rest of the band, and it feels like it's Taka's solo project. I don't know if anyone else feels that way right now.
So,
Just me?
Just you. I haven't heard it yet. I'm gonna check it out.
It's called Change. It's a change, all right.
it is so.
It's a huge change. Are the Imagine Dragons of Japan right now?
Yeah. Yeah, basically, Imagine Dragons in Japan.
It hurts. It hurts so bad.
I'm gonna-
Oh, man.
Yeah. So hey, for those of you in the chat, like this is kind of turned into like an impromptu industry special live. So like everybody on this stream like has a ton of experience like in different areas of the JRock and Visual K scene. So if you want to ask anybody any questions,
I
Put
feel
them in the
like
chat and I'll read 'em out.
Rubab. I feel like Rubab and Laura have the most experience on both sides of the scene. All sides of the scene.
this is true.
Lori has a lot of exposure as well.
Because you guys were both on a magazine, and now you're doing industry things,
Mhm.
like deeper industry things. Deeper industry things. I'm just getting my foot in the door, and you're in it. You're swimming in it.
Oh man.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a roller coaster.
Yeah. So we could actually go on to the other topic that I wanted to talk about, which is it's kind of been a few.
scripted topics.
Well, we'll see how scripted they become. It's kind of been a few years since we had that gradual exodus of major bands from PSC
Oh yeah.
into the NDC.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to touch on each of them and maybe talk about like where they ended up. You know, I don't know. I'm sure not everybody watching has been following every single one of them. But we could start with Sug because
Sug.
they are no more.
Rubab's face was like,
Yeah, Thug. Well, so Chiyu's got his solo project. I really liked him in Gremlins. He was supporting Gremlins for a long time, which is Hitsugi from Nightmare and Kenzo from Ayabe's band thing. So Chiyu was doing that. Now he's got a solo project coming out, which sounds really cool. Two of our clients are on this album that he's releasing, which is exciting. Plus, well, Takeru's always been doing his thing, right?
Yeah.
Takeru has like 3 different solo projects, and that's the only thing that
Yeah.
bothers me.
But I think he like stopped it. Like Uakimono was one, right? But I think
Yeah.
that's done. And now
And
he's
then
doing
he has Sleepyhead. But then what happened to his fashion line? Did he just stop that, or is he still doing it?
No, he's doing that. That thing sells really well in Japan. He's just
Okay.
announced another release.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
but
So his
this-
fashion line to him is Black Moral to the Gazette. Got it.
pretty much, yeah. He's really into design. So he's doing Sleepyhead right now, and so Teddy Lloyd worked on some of the tracks for Sleepyhead. So I'm excited to check that out because anything Teddy touches is gold.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are the other members doing stuff? I feel like
I haven't seen anything from the other members yet. Just Chu and Takeru.
Right.
Well, just talking about like their career as a new indie band.
So
Like, yeah, you know,
the band
like,
that's currently on eternal hiatus.
yeah, like, you know, how do you think they did, like, you know, compared to like on PSC, you know, I can start like for me, like I liked like a lot of the directions they were going. I was just it just seemed maybe like they were starting to lose momentum or direction. Not really. I didn't really see a huge like I didn't see any hits to the quality in music all the way up until the end. So I was actually kind of confused when they disbanded. But then Sleepyhead kind of cleared up like a few things for me because like their last like EP that they put out, there was that song Agaku, and like now that I've listened to Sleepyhead, I go back and I listen to that Agaku song, and it kind of sounds like if you tried to force like start to try and sound like where Takuru's at with Sleepyhead right now. So
Yeah,
I can kind of see like just like a growth, like it kind of seemed like they might have been growing out of Sug, you know, as a whole.
I have to agree. Yeah, I agree. I agree a lot, and I feel like Sug did what every PSC company did once they like air quote graduated from PSC, because like everyone got their first taste of freedom for like 2 years, and they had a blast with it. Yeah, everyone went nuts. Everyone made whatever social media they weren't allowed to make at the time, and they made whatever music they could make in the first 10 seconds. Like A9 released that one party song, right, Jeff, that you showed me, that
Undead
they like
Party.
go crazy with it. Yeah, every undead party, and everyone sings, and we're like, there's certain reasons why there's a vocalist, and then nobody else is the vocalist. But
You're talking about the live clip. There's a live clip of A9 where they play Undead Party, and halfway through they switch to playing backing tracks, and they all get up, and they all have like little like lights and rave lights and stuff, and they're all singing and rapping together. And it's like they look like they were just really having fun, like the kind of thing that it's just you look at it and you're like, there's no way they would have let them do this. Like at PSC,
so know? I think the only problem is that we didn't see Sug get to do that. So like since they didn't do that, I feel like they didn't get a chance to really let out everything that they had to really get on the same track at one time, and that's why at the end, like Takeru was like, well, I want to do this thing, and everyone else is like, but we want to go in this other direction though. And then they like, I don't know words right now, they like bumped heads, attacked each other with words.
From what Takeru told me himself was that he does almost everything, so he was making all of the music pretty much, and writing and producing a lot of it himself. So that probably had a lot to do with that.
So he's felt like I may as well do this on my own if I'm going to do it on my own.
I mean, yes, but also like that's why things aren't really that much different. So
yeah, and when you're evolving as an artist, even if you are a rock artist, if you try and like move into other genres, it's really hard to take like a triple guitar attack, as they call it, like formula for a band, and like force it into that. You know, like. You can't do soft pop with a lead guitar, rhythm guitar, and a bass guitar, you know.
Yeah.
Like, so, what about Doubt? Have you guys been following Doubt at all? No, not at all.
I know what they sound like, but I haven't been following them.
Okay, so Doubt, did you follow them when they were on PSC? Or
aren't they still on PSC?
No,
I think they graduated, right? Yeah, they graduated.
Yeah. They're
everyone
like
graduated.
They went A9 style indie, like Doubt kind of went a similar route that A9 did. Like they left, and then they're
went wild.
Yeah, went kind of wild, you know. Like
so. Does graduated mean that they quit or they got fired?
It means that I think their contract went up. I think. Well, like in the idol industry, your contract is up, right? So I'm gonna see it as their contract was up and they didn't feel like renewing it, and we're like, we want to do us for a minute.
Yes,
that's how I feel.
Yes, that's the answer.
Right.
Is that what happened? Cool.
Well, A9's. Yeah. Well, I don't know if Sug's contract expired. I think they just left, right?
Let's say the contract ended.
The contract ended.
Let's say.
I know A9
Graduated was
contract
more
ended.
vague.
A9 sounded like it ended, and they were just like, yeah, we're gonna go do our own thing, I guess. But and then Doubt, I don't remember what's out, but Doubt kind of dropped a lot of the structure of their songs because they were kind of really like growing into like this really nice pop rock band that was like one of the few that I not only like was okay with, but like loved. And now they've kind of reverted more into like a energetic version of that with more guitars, less pop kind of thing. But people still seem to be liking them, and they still seem to be doing pretty well on the Oricon charts as well.
That's good.
My only
I
thing
think because
is,
they built up enough fan base while they were on PSC. So
Yeah.
it was like, it's Doubt.
yeah, I don't know
about,
what. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna bring up Razor.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Razor.
Yeah, that's a good one to bring up.
Yeah,
Very relevant.
I really like their sound, but they're not on PS Company. I think they're on Timely Records.
Yeah, they
which
are. Yeah.
I think Nightmare's guitarist is signed there and some other band. I can't remember.
Yeah, it's that. What's this project? Gremlins.
No, what? Oh yeah, Gremlins and guitarist
Oh God,
Jackie
sorry.
Gunn. They're nicer.
Yeah.
Sacto's thing.
I failed. Before people wonder what's going on, I have to explain that that gunshot was the start of a race. There's nothing's going on, guys. It's the start of a race. I'm still at a track meet right now.
Oh, America.
Yeah, basically.
Anywhere in the
So
world.
stereotypical.
But like I'm also in New York, so like it could have been anything.
Yeah,
If I didn't say.
it's good you clarified just to be safe.
In case people were
Before
like,
you
"Did
like
he
go
die?"
viral.
Yes.
So Winona and I listened to Razor's like last mini album,
Newest,
like
yeah, the
very
latest mini
early.
album.
And
What was the song that was the most popular? Road?
Road, yeah. It was like there was DJ scratches in it, and there was like it was kind of like a new metal sound, but like heavier than new metal, but still be new metal.
Road,
I don't
right?
know how to say that. Yeah.
Road, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's
Wasn't there also
number
a
one
song
on
that we
Apple
figured
Music.
out was Pledge, but with like
Oh,
it was like
yeah.
Pledge from the Gazette and
Okay,
then titled Fused
so here's
Together.
what happened, right? So we recorded like our podcast episode recently, and we were talking about Razor and because they have a new single coming out, and so we went back and looked at the mini album, and I said on the podcast that they have this one song on there. Winona, maybe you can look up the name because it's in kanji and I don't know
Got you.
how to say it, but they have a visualizer PV for it up on Timely's YouTube channel, and it's nice and slow, and it's got guitars and like orchestral sounds, and then it switches to like a power ballad, and I was like, wow, this is a really solid improvement for a bit for Razor. Like they slowed down and it didn't like completely fall apart, which was kind of what I was worried might happen.
I have the
was
name.
Like, this is really
I
good.
have the
What's
name.
the name of it?
Kimi wa ima mo azayaka ni.
Yeah. So I said all that on the episode, and then the next day I wake up, I listen to it, and it hits me. I'm like, oh my God, this is like almost directly copying Pledge by the Gazette. So I don't know.
No,
I
you
really-
said it was Pledge, but then I was like, wait, it's a little more than Pledge because there's there's a few too many electronic elements in there.
Yeah, so now I don't know how I feel about it because it's like it's good that they can make that sound, but like
Maybe
I've
they
already
were
heard
testing
that
things,
song
you know?
before.
Maybe it's a cross-faith moment, Jeff. Maybe it's a cross-faith moment. Maybe it's a wipeout moment, Jeff.
Oh man.
Welcome to VKH Breakdown, VKH Live, where Jeff gets all of his favorite bands to hate him. Yeah, so
Really,
but,
Jeff,
like,
it's me. I keep trash talking on dance.
yeah, but overall, I like Razor because they kind of like have this like sound and feel to them. It makes it sound. It feels like really glammed up metalcore, and I mean that like in a good way. Like I don't know if you notice, like when he sings in the choruses and stuff, he always has like auto-tuned like harmonizing vocals and stuff like that.
We
And,
questioned it a little bit too.
Sometimes it gets a little out of hand, but like I think when it works, it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
No, because we were wondering if he like harmonizes his voice, but because it's like a little too smooth to be auto-tune. It's not as sharp as auto-tune, so maybe it's more controlled auto-tune.
Yeah. Asuka says a lot of VKs just have your new metal, maybe new metalcore. The term you're looking for is alt metal, alternative metal, but I use that word a lot, so I'm trying to say it less and less.
You can't just let it be new metal. You can't just
no, new metal is like part of alternative metal, but not just alternative metal.
Jeff is ready to go in on all the different genres of metal.
Yeah, Slipknot is alternative metal because it's metal mixed with other non-metal things. So.
That GIF I shared with you, Jeff. You're definitely that GIF. I forgot what movie that was from.
It's from Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Yeah, you're Rose.
Yeah, the girl, his girlfriend goes to like offer him tea, and she like lists off like 8 different brands of tea. She's like, we have this, we have this, we have this, we have this. But someone made a GIF out of it and just like subbed it with like, yeah, we have metalcore, new metal, black metal, gent metal,
finish metal,
finish metal, death metal.
Viking metal. And then he was like, is that it? And then she kept going.
Yeah.
But I guess then we should have a category of Japanese metal. Like, shouldn't that be a thing if there's...
I feel like it's all under loud rock right now. Like all of it is under loud rock, that veil. So really, if rock is still loud rock, I'm hurting.
It really does all fall into alt metal though. Like
here it does. I wonder if those genres would spread out to Japan, because the way how iTunes categorizes things, like Matt and Opera put themselves under death metal, and we're kind of looking at them like you're not.
Was it death metal or black metal?
It was one of those.
Yeah, that's really aspirational.
And we were like, that's not what you are, but okay.
Yeah, Rubab, you wanna label your music as what you want it to be, not what it is.
Check with Jeff for
the job you want.
Check with what.
Leave Matero Opera alone.
Yeah, they're having a rough time.
Leave Britney alone.
I'm so sad.
Yeah, we're really upset too, actually.
Just yeah, it's really sad actually about you leaving, and then Anzi left, you retired. Sad moments.
Poor guy. And then Yo went on Twitter and talked about his medical history and why he's into music and how he got into music. And it's just, if you read Japanese, read his tweets about it. It's really like, oh, my heart.
Oh, no, yeah. I felt so bad for him when I saw his tweets.
Yeah.
I looked up that
I kind of cried.
That he had. I was like, oh no, that's horrible.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. What happened?
We're talking about Matt and Opera and you, because we started talking about how Matt and Opera labeled themselves as black metal on iTunes, and Rubab had a leave Britney alone moment with Matt and Opera. But now I'm sad about you.
No, I mean, what happened with you? Because I actually don't know what happened with him. There might be people listening who don't know either.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Good point.
Rubab,
you was the drummer for. Yeah. Go ahead, Rubab. Do it.
Rubab's got the thing.
He has a really, really rare disease, and he can't play drums anymore without being in so much pain, and it's been bothering him for like about a year or so now, and it's gotten to the point where he can't play anymore, so he has to retire or he'll never get better. And it's the saddest thing in the world.
That sucks. That's that's so tragic.
Bad. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is coming like a year and a half after Anzi, their lead guitarist, left.
Yeah, didn't they also say that? I think they said in the statement that you had those problems like 2 or 3 years ago, and it went away, and then it came back, right?
Yeah, so he has to get treatment, and if he keeps playing, the treatment won't work. He has to like stop for a very long time. So they made the decision that he's going to retire from the band.
That's so sad. That's so sad. He's such a good drummer. I remember when I saw their US debut, I was like, oh, they're so good.
They're really nice guys. Like all of them are super, super nice, and I just feel so bad for them because they're an amazing, amazing band.
Oh yeah. Some of my favorite songs of all time are like put out by them. Right?
Yeah. So and then Yo was talking about his past and his history, and basically he was just so sick that he almost died from a disease. So But that was like when he was a lot younger and before he got into music, and that's why he's into music now, is because he was sick for years in the hospital. Yeah, and that's why he's so chill. Just this chill guy.
Life comes and goes, you know? No.
Yeah.
So do you guys think they're going to disband, or do you think they can stick it out?
Don't say it. No.
I gotta ask the question, man. Come on.
So I know they have Lita supporting them sometimes. They have Lita writing some of their music, is what I heard. But yeah, they need to get another guitarist and a drummer.
Yeah. Oh boy.
No, so heavy.
Yeah, there's a few different VK bands right now that it's like pretty substantial losses. That it's like Jupiter is kind of like that. We were talking about
the third
Jupiter.
birthday. Well, here's the thing. The third birthday had 3 of their band members leave, right? I mean, I know they were super small, but 3 of their members left. There were the 2 of them, and then the third birthday ultimately disbanded. But those 2 members came back in a new band, Balalaika. So there's a chance that could happen. I feel like, but
sometimes the band just can't survive like losing a key member, but because that band's image is based over that one member's input, whether it's like songwriting, lyrics, or just image. But if the band disbands as that band, as that name, they can sometimes reform under another name with like a few extra additional members and do very well, which is basically the situation you just described.
Lori said it much more eloquently than I did.
Yeah.
Comeback,
man.
basically, right?
Yeah, it's very. That's why I always thought.
We should make a happier subject because Rubab looks like she's in real pain right now.
So I'm actually really cold, and I'm gonna go grab a blanket. Well, I'm just gonna roll away for a second. It's really cold.
Okay.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay.
Oh, that's better than me because when I left for like a second, Jeff was like, "Oh, cool, leave me alone here. Hey guys, what's up? It's me, your boy Jeff. Alone."
Oh, boy.
I'm in LA and it's like cold here, and I'm like, why?
What's
Not
cold
why
in
I'm
LA? What is cold to LA?
I think it's, hold on, let me see. 57 degrees.
That's warm here.
That's how much?
That's warm here.
Celsius.
That is warm in New York. It was 74 one day, and we were like, "Oh my gosh, so warm."
American weather confuses me. Like the reading of it, so I have no idea what you're talking about.
Temperature.
Yeah, like I understand you're talking about temperature, but like in Australia, we don't do it that way. Like at the moment in Osaka, it's 7 degrees.
Oh Jesus!
Oh, Celsius, right? You're talking about Celsius.
Yeah.
14. It's 14 Celsius.
I'm way too Americanized.
Yeah, sorry.
Let me
Entitled
see what
Americans
this
over
is
here.
Celsius. Let me just change all of my stats here.
Aren't we the
Where's
last
the button?
country to
Come on, Weather
still
Channel.
use Fahrenheit?
I think there's like 2 other countries.
There it is.
So stubborn. We're so stubborn.
So like here, it's 8 degrees. It's 8 degrees here Celsius. That's warm right now. It's a pretty decent, pretty decent temperature for us right now. It's gonna be. The high today was 12.
My hands are like cold. I have my space heater on too.
Rubab left New York to go back to the warmth, and now she's saying it's cold.
That's because in Michigan and it's freezing.
Another band that I wanted to bring up that I think a lot of stuff we were just talking about really ties into is Jupiter. Do you guys have, before I go any further, do you guys have any general thoughts on Jupiter? Like them?
Well, Zin left.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
don't spoil it.
Good
Jeez.
luck.
Don't spoil the surprise.
What surprise? Anyone who follows us knows?
I don't even follow them, and I know that.
All right. Well,
Exactly. Well, wait, Rubab, that's not fair because you're in the whole thing. You're in the middle of it. You find out things before we do.
It's Rubab's fault.
Yes and no.
Yes and no. Oh yeah, sometimes we show you things and you're like, have you heard? And we're like, wait.
Yeah, like I heard things about. Well, no, I'm not. Never mind. Let's continue.
Yeah, before she accidentally spills beans.
Okay, so just kind of meh thoughts.
Now that I ruined the surprise.
Yeah. Okay. So what I was gonna say is that Jupiter is like almost a band that I kind of count as its own solo artist, just because it was like the other part of Versailles, you know, for like the longest time.
The solo artist for who?
Just like we were talking. Well, for all four, the solo artist for Versailles. Kind of what I was getting at is it's like it's not a solo project, but it feels like a solo project.
We saw
They just all went
Versailles
solo
minus
without.
for the longest time.
It feels like they isolated one part of Versailles sound, soloed it out into its own thing.
Without comedy, right? Just comedy.
Yeah,
I think I told you, Jeff and James, like I told you guys, like I saw Jupiter as like the current Malice Misery in the sense that vocalists will keep leaving the band. So they're gonna have to keep finding new vocalists. And that's gonna be how the band is. And then I think, who was it? Somebody said, I think Shane said like Hizuki is like hard to work with, and I was like, so in other words, Hizuki is Mana or something like that. Like, because a lot of vocalists in Malice Misery said that like Mana was difficult to work with, so I don't know. In the sense of how particular they want their sound to be. But that's just me speculating.
Yeah, I just really distinctly remember like not being super into them initially. Just kind of like they were like, I don't know. To me, I think I said something like this in my review. It was like they kind of sound like Versailles light, kind of, you know. And it wasn't like
Versailles light.
It just maybe it was because I'd already
Versailles.
If Versailles was a glass of wine, early Jupiter was La Croix.
Oh no.
That's mean. It's not that bad, but it's like it wasn't quite my thing. But what I'm getting at is that
Jeff is harsh.
So they slowly.
Yeah,
I'm an asshole. Sorry. Like.
For those of you that don't know what LaCroix or LaCroix is, it's a really terrible sparkling water that comes in a gajillion flavors that white people love, and they buy like 4 cartons at a time.
So wait. What is?
Yeah, there's like a Rubab.
I
saw that on Facebook, and I think that's like it's like a viral trend right now, right? Like just people are camping all over LaCroix.
I feel like LaCroix is like the ripoff of a different drink. Like.
No, it's its own virus. Like it's just its own thing.
It's so like tinted mineral water.
Yeah, it's nasty.
It's mineral water, so it's vitamin water.
No,
but
it's
no. It's not. It's not like vitamin water. Not like
Pellegrino, but nasty.
But this would be a great gag for when I have guests come in from Japan and they'd be like, here, try LaCroix, and then I'll see if they like it or not. And then I'll judge who's basic based on that.
I think
that band was never seen again.
I feel like that's a great scale on how to judge artists, compare them to different drinks or food. Based on taste, their sound to food, if people don't understand what a good band sounds like. I don't know.
Okay, I have to jump back in here because we just left it like me saying I think Jupiter sucks or something.
Yeah, we did. Before everyone hates Jeff.
What I was getting at was that what I came around to them recently about is that they've really actually finally started to improve, I think. And Zen was actually most notably improving. He when he started, he had like 0 vibrato. You know, so like that was probably like a huge like letdown, or like those are pretty big shoes that he's filling. You know, like from Kamijo with Versailles. So,
Mhm.
you know, I think a lot of people might have seen it as a little bit disappointing, but on these last few albums, he suddenly like completely upgraded his voice. And I was like, these guys, like, it hasn't been that long since the release before. Like, I don't know what happened, but he has vibrato now and he growls a little bit.
I'll tell you what happened.
What? Huh?
Voice teachers.
Very
Like,
good voice teachers, I guess.
Yeah. There's some really great ones out there that just completely transform people's voices. So
Oh yeah, vocal teachers. Yeah,
yeah,
perfect. I had that
whatever.
in my head and I forgot what it's called.
So like, and with that, like, their music started getting a little bit heavier, a little bit like darker in some places, still kind of sounding like, you know, Jupiter, but getting a little darker. And now he's left and he's doing his own solo project. So it's like he went into Jupiter as like a power metal vocalist, and now he's exiting based on like these last few releases. I'm suspecting his solo project's going to be like something really heavy. Because he can scream now, he can growl a little bit. So, but then yeah, as for the rest of Jupiter, I guess right now it's just down to the two guitarists from Versailles that are in it, the bassist and the drummer left, if I remember correctly. So that's another band that it's like that's why I brought this up initially, is like 5 different things, because like that's another band that I'm like, I think Winona and Shane and James.
You asked the
I think they're going to
VKH
disband.
breakdown crew.
Yeah, and Shane, who's been on one of our podcast episodes, he replied back and he was like, "I think this band will stay together because what did he say? Like, Hizaki will keep it alive with his own hands or something."
He wouldn't allow it to die, and that's what I was trying to get at with when I was comparing to Winona. Yeah, that's what I was
okay,
saying.
yeah.
I was
Hizaki
able to
will
make
not
that
permit it to die.
Yes.
Nice.
Have any of you guys listened to Hizaki's solo album?
Yeah, doesn't he have something called? He has a new single coming out called "Queen of the Night" or something, right?
Oh, cool. No,
And everyone had laugh emoji reacts to it on Facebook, and we were like, "Yeah, I know why."
Oh, okay. No, I haven't followed. I'm not really into that style of music, so they were like Versailles was never one of those bands I really followed. I just, I'm more into the other stuff. So,
Not symphonic things.
Yeah, I don't know why. I'm just not really that into it.
I think there's like two kinds of bands. I think like in Visual Kei, there's like the ones that use orchestra and the ones that don't, and you like the ones that don't.
Like, I like my tenor opera, but that's about as far as I go with the symphonic.
Well, they're black metal.
Okay, I guess that's why.
Yeah.
Once they classified as black metal, you were like, oh, wait.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh geez, guys.
But no, I don't listen to it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. One of the other bands that we kind of talked about them. I don't think we really talked about them. Was I want to talk about A9 a little bit. Where do you guys think they're going?
I have no idea. I saw that new thing they put out, Fixer.
Fix you.
Yeah.
Fix plus you.
Fix plus you. I closed the window. Sorry. I used to like Alice 9 a lot when they were Alice 9, and now
now you don't know how you feel about them?
I don't. I'm just like closing the window.
That's how we feel, to be honest. Because what was it, Jeff? Like, we looked at it and we were like, it looks like they're going through an identity crisis right now.
I'm okay with
it. Through all those different looks.
Song, to be honest. Like, it's not one of my favorites, but I've been pretty happy with some of the past releases that they've had.
Mm-hmm.
Like more like before this, that it's like, yeah, let them make the pop song. Like they're gonna come back to it. They've done this before.
As long as they don't like go full Imagine Dragons, it's okay.
Yeah, that's definitely a kind of song that people totally have the right to just not like at all. Like I get it though. Like it's because it's
that came out pretty recently, right? Fix You.
Yeah, it came out at the end of 2017, or really, it came out at the start of this year. But they started putting out the MV, like the music video previews, at the end of 2017.
Because I caught them live on my last trip to Tokyo, and I wasn't really impressed with their live performance. It wasn't a strong performance for me, and then seeing this new release, I was just like, bye.
Nah. You're like, nah.
Not my cup of tea. I don't know. What do you think the fans' response was to it, though?
There were some mixed reactions.
Here's the thing. I think they've already set a precedent with this, with their last album on PSC. If you guys remember that song, Shooting Star. Like, it is, oh God, I'll put it, it is a pop
Jeff,
song.
you make it sound like it's a train wreck, is what you just made
It's
it sound
not a
like.
train wreck. It's a decent pop song, but it is a pop song. Like,
so it sounds like something they actually really wanted to do.
No, like Fix You is not a pop song. It's a pop rock song. Shooting Star is a pop song. I will put it in.
So
the
right now A9 is the Jonas Brothers.
So what I'm saying is, well, this was like 2 years ago or a few years ago from their. This was like on the Supernova album, and what I'm getting at is that they were heading towards Jonas Brothers like then. So if they kept their fans with that, then like they can venture out and do this kind of thing with Fix You, because like they went. I remember that like pissed a lot of fans off though.
Okay. For some reason, I'm clicking the link and it doesn't open. Oh wait, hold on. Go to channel. Got it. Never mind.
But
yeah.
But
is the link working for you guys? It's not working for me.
It seems like every link I put in here doesn't work apparently.
Depressing. Maybe it's because I'm on my phone. So.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
If you just type A9 or Alice 9 Shooting Star into YouTube, it'll come up though.
Okay.
But that whole album was full of like controversial moves and stuff. So, and that was, you know, Shira says the link worked for her. And like they had that song Shining, which was like had a bass beat in it. And they had this crazy song on there that wasn't like a PV track. It was called Kid, and it had like a full-on EDM build-up and bass drop along with like guitars and stuff like mixed in with it, but it was like a club song. Like so they like when with their last album on PSC, they like went like they pushed like the patience of their, you know, their fans and listeners like as far as possible. So I don't think they're ever going to get back to as like close to that kind of sound as they ever have. So like compared to that, like Fix You is like pretty tame, you know. But yeah, I thought they had one single that came out. It was like 2 singles ago. It was a light song. They were all wearing red. Do you guys remember what I'm talking about? Or do you have any idea?
Red? No.
Okay.
No.
Let me pull it up real quick. But basically, it sounded like a song. It's called Reborn. It was like the first single they put out after their album. And I thought that was a nice throwback to like certain Alice 9 sounds, like actual like Alice 9 from, you know, a while back. They switch it up. They do some like punk stuff in there and things like that I think, you know, might throw old fans for a loop, but you know. And then right after that they had Pendulum, which was kind of reminded me of this other song they had called Senko, which was like it's like 5-6 years old now, but it's one of their more popular songs since they signed to PSC. So what I'm getting at is that before Fix You, like it seemed like they were revisiting their roots again a little bit. Roots, like the middle of their career, you know, like
right when they were at their peak.
Yeah. And that's really what their last album was. Ideal was like everything from, they had everything in there from like so many different albums. Like I wouldn't like Idea reminds me a lot.
Sorry to sound like I don't know what's going on, but I don't know what's going on. Who are we talking about?
A9.
Still? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. I was talking about how with Pendulum and Reborn, it sounded like they were going like back and revisiting like, you know, releases like in the prime of their career. And you know, before they threw us for a loop with Fix You. So
yeah, I was
yeah.
no. I was like, what are you doing?
Oh man. Yeah. So I guess our general consensus is we have no idea where they're headed at this point.
Yeah, it stresses me out because they're still one of those, you know, bands that have been around for a very long time, and they do have a lot of influence still. But yeah,
what I was saying was that they're having an identity crisis.
Right, or a midlife crisis.
Midlife crisis, yeah, that's probably more accurate, yeah.
I mean, you're at that age, I get it.
They're getting up there. Can't play the young game anymore.
Can't play the young game, gotta pay them bills.
Gotta find a way.
We'll see.
Poor guys.
What's next on your list, Jeff?
Oh man. I have
Yes, Jeff.
We could hop back to solo artists again if we want to.
We could go through the whole first hour again because I wasn't there.
No,
Oh my goodness!
I'm kidding.
You sort of we've already been over it on one of the podcast episodes in brief, Winona. Like I just talked about Kami Joe and Asagi, and
Yeah.
I think the thing I said on there that I didn't. No, I did bring it up. Just like talking about how they're doing more of like a 50-50 rock and whatever it is that they like that's not rock in their music, you know, so 50-50 rock and symphonic, 50-50 rock and traditional Japanese sounds and things like that.
Sorry, when I said, "Oh yeah," my mom was telling me how she was talking to the daughter of a 102-year-old lady that I had to run against today. Yeah, I'm not proud of it, but I had to run against a 102-year-old lady and beat her. It's just sad. So yeah.
You had to run against a 102-year-old lady? Is that what I heard?
What?
What did you say? You had to run against a 102-year-old lady is what I heard.
Yes, that was accurate. That is exactly what I said.
Oh my god.
In the 60-meter dash. Yeah, she broke a world record. I was there for history.
Oh, cool.
She ran it in a minute. She ran it in like 59.28 seconds, and I ran it in a significantly less time because I'm still getting over an injury. So, yeah, I'm not going to give the time. I'm not proud of it.
She's running at 102, so either way, she's the winner.
I can't run at my age, so
yeah.
I think we can work towards wrapping up the live stream. But one last question I wanted to ask everybody is, what kind of bands? What bands do you guys want to see the most, like coming to the States, like getting exposed to the States? We have a really diverse audience here. I think there's going to be a lot of different reasons.
Could you repeat that?
You don't have to. What bands do you want to see coming to the States, like in the next couple of years, like that you like, and you know, ones that you're personally interested in seeing, or ones that you think should get exposed or would do well, anything like that? Rubab, you can like talk hypotheticals. You don't have to. You know.
Okay. Do I have to start then?
No,
he called you out, so yeah.
I don't want to. I have a lot of really cool stuff planned for the next year or two coming in, so I don't want to spoil anything. We do have some nice stuff we're working on, but what I don't want to see are terrible bands coming to the U.S.
No, okay, good point. Good point.
And to elaborate,
Shots fired.
Right. I don't believe that just anybody should be coming to the U.S. to perform. There's been a little trend of bands coming out here that break up as soon as they come out here. And that's not good for the industry. It's not good for anybody. It's not good for Japan because you bring out a terrible band and they do some terrible things here. And then everyone's like, oh, well, Japan's full of terrible artists. So I really think that it's important that the bands coming out here are influential, are important, are selling, are filling venues. So those are the bands I don't think should be coming out to America. I want to see very successful bands coming to the US.
The bands need to have like potential and like a future ahead of them.
Yeah. Bands with a solid plan and a solid future, not just things people find on the internet.
Yeah.
That's a very good point.
That is a very good point.
Laura, why don't you go next?
I agree with Rubab. To me, not just because I'm a business owner, but as someone who is invested in the scene, I want to see more bands coming out that like are able to fill venues, because when you can do that, then you get a lot more people who are interested in what's going on, and that helps to bring in more fans into the scene. I think things aren't quite as popular as they were like 5 years ago, so I would like to see that trend go the other way. So like to me like if my favorite bands come here or don't, like, it doesn't really matter, but I'd rather see bands coming that are gonna improve things over like long term, I guess. Does that make sense? Like,
that makes a lot of sense, and I have to agree with you, because like I would rather see bands that are the future of the industry,
No, you're good.
I guess like that have a lot of potential, like Rubab was saying, because those are the bands that'll get fans more excited. I feel like younger fans don't get as excited over older bands like X Japan and Duran Gray like the older fans do. So like they need a younger, newer band so that they feel like they're onto something. Because honestly, we're a hipster generation, and we need bands like Kizu and Viva Rush and all those to like come up and be the new hip thing.
Yeah.
Save it.
Like from myself and Visa Promotion in general, we're all about like the new younger bands that aren't always as well known when we start working with them, building them up. So like even if you look back at Rise and Rebellion, when we took them to America the first time at AUSA, they weren't overly big at that time. But like I know people that were at that live will say it was a fantastic live because as I trusted in them, they put like 150% of their body and soul into that live. And to this day, that's still one of the proudest moments of my life, seeing them on that stage, seeing them interact with the fans and all of that. But the next band that I really want to take to America is, of course, Viva Rush. I really think they have every potential to be great in the American fan market. They're great with fan interaction. They really tremendously love their fans, or their dreamers, as they say. Their music is really energetic, really fun, really positive. And they're just a crazy bunch of guys, and they're really easy to like.
Awesome. Yeah, and you guys, and they have an English Facebook page, and you guys had a goal to reach 500 likes, and you were thinking end of March, and you beat it way early.
In under 2 weeks, we got 500 likes.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
We're still working on a lot of stuff for the Facebook. Like we've got the vocalist, Rui Mari, we've got his vlog going up, and I'm just about ready with the next episode of that. And unbeknownst to many, Rui Mari is actually having English lessons once a week. That's how dedicated he is.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's awesome.
So young bands with promise, not young bands with nice faces only.
Yeah. Yeah. For me personally, I totally agree with that. I would also like, if possible, like some of the indie powerhouses in the scene, kind of making their way over eventually. It's just the problem I see with that is that a lot of those are like they're so un-Western, unexposed to the West that they would have to be kind of exposed through like a con as a very exotic artist. You know, I'm thinking like Kiryu, I'm thinking Diora, I'm thinking Archite. You know,
it's all about the promotion, honestly.
Okay.
These bands, I've done a bit of work with Archite, but not much. But if they had like really focused promotion, it would be a whole completely different story. Because what foreign fans, international fans need is accessibility. And once that accessibility is there, fans will flock towards it.
Right. Very true. Asuka in the chat actually said definitely would want more Gazette, but with better marketing. And Winona, does that sound familiar to you? Winona?
Sorry, I'm ordering food. What was the question? Can I have brown rice and black beans, please?
We just had someone in the chat say that they would definitely like to see the Gazette, but with better marketing. I thought you'd appreciate that.
Yes, that sounds familiar.
Asuka, if you go to our YouTube channel, we just put up episode 0, which is like the very first episode, like test episode that we did of VKH Breakdown, and Winona goes on a very delightful rant about how the Gazette should have had better marketing.
Yeah, I'll explain that deeper in like 2 seconds, Lettuce. Yeah. Okay, I can explain that deeper now. Okay, so here's the thing that happened with the Gazette and their marketing, right? I think there were a few things. I'm not sure entirely, but Rubab is closer to the management, I think, than I am, because I'm definitely not close to management at all. But like they didn't show the money maker when they were promoting themselves. They didn't show their image to the States at all before they hit the States. Like the Facebook ad that they had sponsored was only like this motion graphic of like the Dogma little insignia that they had created, that Dogma icon or logo. And there was no image of the Gazette. So all it said was just the Gazette, World Tour 16, and nothing else. And of course, as like if you were somebody on the outside looking in, that doesn't seem very interesting. If they had showed like at least images of the band members, that would have made someone curious.
Yeah. Let's just say it was a learning experience.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a pretty good summary of it, I think.
Yeah.
You did
also like some press interview the band, and the promoters kind of like waited last minute a little bit to actually promote the band, and I don't know if that was because they had a hard time like discussing things with management. I know that when we were interviewing them, things took a while because they had to get things through Sony and through PSC at the same time, but like come on. They could have done better. I just feel like things could have been done better. Like they could have done campaigns on Twitter at least. They could have done so many opportunities. They could have like at least done maybe a press packet in LA.
Yeah.
While they were doing a US tour, they could have like gone on to late night shows if possible, probably not possible, but they could have done some kind of press packets here and there. But that didn't happen.
I think that's entirely possible because Baby Metal was on Colbert Report. So
right. Well, Baby Metal is a lot bigger in the States than the Gazette is. The Baby Metal went viral on YouTube and they went touring with Lady Gaga. But the Gazette had the potential to go viral on YouTube because this is before they went onto iTunes. And this is before they got all their stuff uploaded onto like Western YouTube because all their stuff was uploaded onto Eastern YouTube. Yeah. Yeah. So there's just a lot that they could have done.
Yeah.
That could have been done differently if they had just like thought more about how to reach the Western. Thank you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
For a second at the end, but to reach the Western audience, yeah.
Yeah, reach the Western community. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
I have a
very
lot
true.
of feelings. I have a lot of feelings that I want to say in an article that I've been working on for ever
Yeah.
since there will actually published because the time passed and I'm just the world's
Yeah.
website.
Save it for the
We'll see
next
what
story.
happens.
Yeah, well, it's okay.
Yeah.
You actually like if I re-listened to like our first episode because I put it up on YouTube, and
Yeah.
you did a really good job like going like way into it, like
Yeah,
even
so
more than
listen to
this. So
VKH
listen to
breakdown.
that because it's up on
Yeah, because
online.
my mind's not in the right place right now. I'm kind of like all over the place right now. I'm in Chipotle.
Yeah.
So like I can't
hungry.
like talk about the Gazette out loud and be really passionate because everyone's looking at me weird. So
No, it's all good.
yeah, listen to VKH breakdown and
Yeah,
hear my very deep thoughts.
Yeah,
They
so
could have
that's
done a lot
our
of campaigns.
yeah, that's our 2018 our I guess 2018, 2019, 2020 New Year's resolutions is we want
I don't think they're
young
coming in
indie bands
2020.
with promise. Huh?
Oh, the Gazette. Oh, sorry. I was still thinking the Gazette. I was like, I don't think they're coming in 2020 because the Olympics is
No.
happening.
Young indie bands with promise.
Young indie bands with promise, yeah.
Indie powerhouses if they can get the marketing figured out and focus.
Yeah.
And major bands that have marketing that lives up to the potential that they have. So.
Another thing is that some promoters are kind of outdated on how the internet works these days. I'm sorry, I just had to say that. Like, there's a lot more. There are so many more options. Like, Jeff knows so many more options. I know so many more options. But Jeff knows more than me. And if they had just like learned how to finesse these things, then they would have. Because that totally could have sold out. No reason they wouldn't have sold out.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's literally just how I feel. Like, they only didn't sell out because they didn't. I feel like whoever was promoting them didn't focus as much on a Japanese rock band. AEG Rise could have done so much more on their own. I feel like.
You know what's interesting?
I don't know.
I do a lot of like Facebook advertising and marketing. So I went in to set the ads for JRock Vault, and you can see everyone. You can zoom it down to like the United States, and you can see where the most people live who are marked as Facebook as being interested in visual K. And New York's the top city. So, like, if you're going to sell out a show,
they
it
should have
be
sold
New
out.
York, LA, San Francisco, usually.
Yeah. I remember I was talking to you, Rubab, about it. You were like, yeah, they came close to selling out, but they didn't actually sell out. And I was like, dude, they should have sold.
Yeah. And they hadn't toured here before, so it's insane that they did it because people were waiting for so long. They almost took too long.
Sold out.
Too long is a problem too. We get that a lot.
Yeah. Very true. All right, I think we can go ahead and wrap up the stream. Thank you so much, Laura, Lori, Rubab, and Winona for joining us.
We had so many special guests.
Me wondering if I might have to end up just monologuing the whole thing, which I was totally fine and ready to do, to like a totally awesome like industry chat. So
the Jeff Show.
Yeah, it's the industry hour.
Jeff Show. The Jeff Show. It's going to be the second podcast of VKH. Jeff. Just Jeff.
Just
That's
Jeff.
what it's called, just Jeff.
It's probably going to happen one day where I'm just going to like get hit with something I want to ramble about, and I'm going to be out. I'm going to be on my phone, and I'm just going to start streaming and just be like, "Hey, so this is a rant. Like, I just wanted to talk about this."
Yo,
like,
is that what VKH Live is now? The rant channel?
VKH Live is anything and everything.
Okay, so everyone,
it is all.
All right, cool. Expect anything from all the writers from now on. We'll all just hit it up whenever we have a thought. We're like, you know what really grinds my gears?
I would love to participate in this. I have so many rants.
All right.
Sure, absolutely.
Jeff, we got to set up an email so that.
Rubab, anytime you want to rant, just let me know and I'll set up a live stream.
Every day. Every day.
Every day.
Okay.
Every day we're ranting.
I'm free most evenings.
Is this the end of the stream? Is this the end of the stream?
Yeah, we're done. So make sure you check out JRock Vault at jrockvault.com. Really awesome products. They just had their launch party.
So much product placement.
There's not product placement. It's
no, we have so many things to plug because we have Big Star and then V Star.
Yeah, so Rubab, how would you like people to go find out more about Fake Star?
So yeah, we have our website now, fakestarusa.com. Don't go to the Japanese website. There's not much on there. But most of our info and up-to-date everything goes up on our Facebook and Twitter. And we do have just settled some nice, delicious contracts. So
Nice, delicious contract. Yummy. Fresh.
Yes, very nice. So yeah, please check us out there for more news. I'm really excited for stuff we have going on this year.
Awesome. Lori, where would you like people to go to check out V-Star?
The best places would probably be Facebook or Twitter.
Okay, great.
So V-Star Promotions on Facebook, right?
Yeah, it's V-Star Promotions, right?
Yep.
Okay, great. And if you guys are into Genki Osharike, check out Viva Rush's Facebook.
Genki Osharike. Osharike is making a comeback.
Yes.
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 It's been 12 years in the making.
Yeah, right. So you can check our stuff out at vkh-press.com, Winona and I stuff. We do a podcast called VKH Breakdown that is currently on SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/VKH Breakdown. And we're in the process of uploading all the episodes to YouTube. So
with interesting artwork.
So if you find us if you subscribe to this channel, you will be seeing not only the new or the old episodes that we're moving over, you'll see the new ones in the future, and we're going to be doing some YouTube exclusive content that's related to the podcast as well, and a bunch of other stuff too that I won't even get into, but just
lots of little surprises for you guys. Lots of little Easter eggs.
The VKH Live for this live stream. For VKH Live, we do this stream every Saturday evening. Times vary. You can check vkh-press.com.
It varies because
ahead
I'm
of time.
highly unavailable.
Yep. So with that, thanks again, guys.
Thank you.
And, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye. Bye.